By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to buy your first rental property, step by step. And there's a strategy I'm saving for the end that can cut your required down payment by 80%. It's completely legal, most banks encourage it, and almost nobody talks about it. The median homeowner in America has a net worth of $396,200. The median renter, $10,400. That's a 38 times gap, and it widens every single year you wait. Every month you don't own a rental property, someone else's tenant is building equity. Just not for you. All right, let's get into it. The first thing most people do wrong is fall in love with a property before running a single number. They drive through a neighborhood they like, picture tenants happily paying rent, and make an offer on vibes. That's how you lose money. Here's what you do instead. Before you look at a single listing, set your financial criteria. Minimum acceptable return, maximum purchase price, minimum monthly rent. Then use those filters to sort properties, not your gut. Two quick mental math tools make this easy. The first is the 1% rule. A property should rent for at least 1% of its purchase price per month to cash flow positively. A $200,000 home should rent for $2,000 a month. It's a starting filter, not gospel, but it kills bad deals in about 10 seconds. The second is the 50% rule. Operating expenses typically eat roughly half your gross rent. If a property rents for $1,800 a month, assume $900 goes to taxes, insurance, maintenance, and management before you touch the mortgage. Then you run the full numbers. Here's a real example. Purchase price, $200,000. Monthly rent, $1,800. Mortgage payment on a 30-year loan at 7%, roughly $1,064. Taxes and insurance, $350. Maintenance reserve, $167. Total monthly expenses, about $1,581. Monthly cash flow, around $219. Annual, $2,628. That's a 6.6% cash-on-cash return before tax benefits. And once you factor in depreciation, the real return climbs well above 12%. Tools like the BiggerPockets rental property calculator and rentometer make this analysis free and fast. Here's what most beginners miss entirely. Your tenant pays down your mortgage the entire time. On a $200,000 loan over 30 years, they build $200,000 in equity for you, without you writing a single additional check. That's not a metaphor, that's the math. And U.S. rents have grown at an average of 3.2% annually since 1980, outpacing inflation. Every year you're not in the game, that compounding works for someone else. According to BiggerPockets survey data, the average first-time investor analyzes 66 properties before submitting their first offer. The ones who stop at 10 never close. Now here's where things get interesting. Running great numbers means nothing if you can't get the deal done. And the single biggest separator between investors who close and ones who don't isn't money, it's their team. A regular real estate agent and an investor-friendly agent are completely different professionals. A regular agent finds you a home you'll love. An investor-friendly agent has bought investment properties themselves. They know cap rates, vacancy patterns, and how to write an offer that wins. When you interview an agent, ask them directly, how many investment properties do you personally own? The answer tells you everything. Find investor-friendly agents through the BiggerPockets Agent Finder or your local real estate investor association. Your mortgage situation matters just as much. A bank loan officer works for one institution. A mortgage broker shops your loan across dozens of lenders. On a $250,000 property, a 1 percentage point difference in your interest rate is roughly $150 a month, $54,000 over the life of the loan. Your credit score is literally paying you. Aim for 740 or above. Get pre-approved before you make a single offer. And before you close on anything, find a CPA with real estate experience. Not a general tax preparer, someone who specializes in investors. Because the tax advantages of rental property are genuinely shocking until someone explains them. The IRS lets you depreciate a residential rental over 27.5 years. On a $275,000 property, that's roughly $10,000 per year in paper losses, deductible against your rental income, even while the property appreciates and generates positive cash flow. At a 22% tax bracket, that's close to $2,200 a year in tax savings you never spent anything to get. Picture sitting across from your CPA, looking at those numbers, and it finally lands. You're getting a deduction on something that's going up in value. Almost every first-time investor describes that moment the same way. pure disbelief, then a slow smile. If this is clicking for you, hit subscribe. I drop videos like this every week, and the best part is still coming. Okay, remember how I said there's a strategy that cuts your down payment by 80%? Here it is. It's called house hacking, and it might be the single most powerful financial move available to anyone under 40. Here's the concept. Instead of buying a pure investment property, you buy a small multi-unit, a duplex, triplex, or fourplex, and live in one unit while renting out the others. Because you're living there, you qualify for owner-occupied financing. That means FHA loans with as little as 3.5% down versus the 15 to 25% required for an investment property. On a $350,000 duplex, that's the difference between $12,250 and $87,500 up front. Here's what that looks like in practice. A $350,000 duplex in Indianapolis. Your down payment, $12,250. The other unit rents for $1,400 a month. Your effective housing cost drops to around $700. Meanwhile, a one-bedroom apartment in that same market rents for $1,200 to $1,500. You're saving $500 to $800 every single month, and simultaneously building equity, gaining landlord experience, and creating the rental income history that helps you qualify for your next property. Scott Trench, CEO of Bigger Pockets and author of Set for Life, did exactly this in Denver in 2014. He was 24 years old, bought a house for $228,000, rented rooms to housemates, and dropped his housing costs from $1,500 a month to under $100. 18 months later, he bought his second property. He described that first $1,400 rent payment as the most motivating money I ever received, money I didn't go to work for. Brandon Turner, author of the book on rental property investing, bought his first duplex in Washington State in 2007 for $95,000. The other tenant's rent covered his mortgage completely. He now owns hundreds of units. As Barbara Corcoran once said, the best time to buy real estate is always 5 years ago. The second best time is today. And for veterans, this gets even better. VA loans allow qualifying veterans to purchase up to a 4-unit property with $0 down as long as they live in one unit. $0 down. One of the most underutilized financial advantages in this entire country. After 1 year, you move out, rent your unit, and do it again, repeating the cycle with low-down financing on your next property. That one shift alone makes everything we covered today dramatically more accessible. So there you go. Run your numbers first. The 1% rule, the 50% rule, the full cash-on-cash analysis, before you fall in love with anything. Build the right team, an investor-friendly agent, a mortgage broker, and a real estate CPA who can unlock the depreciation advantage most people leave on the table. And if you want the fastest, lowest cost path to your first rental property, house hacking changes the entire equation. The median renter and the median homeowner aren't living 38 times apart because of luck. They made a different decision. And the second best time to make that decision is right now. If this video helped you, share it with someone who's been sitting on the fence, and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Next week, we're analyzing a real rental property deal from scratch, live numbers and all. You'll want to see it.